So her due date was February 8th, and it was very exciting because she was my first. And I remember more about her probably than I do about the other three. Sad to say. Her due date was February 8th, but she decided, you know, she likes to be in charge of things. She's not a big follower. So she was born, it wasn't the 8th, and it wasn't the 9th, and it wasn't the 10th, it wasn't the 11th, it wasn't the 12th. So 13. It was a 13, and then you were born. I don't know, 4 hours or something like that, pretty quickly at Group Health. And you were so tiny. You were only 5 pounds, 13 ounces. And you were so cute and little and sweet.
She was very little. And she was very, very cute.
Obviously. Modest.
And it was an overwhelming experience, one that I hadn't even imagined what it would be like until it happened. So it was really an amazing day.
As soon as we heard the news of the baby, and that Jacob said Benjamina is fine, and we have a baby girl, we were up here immediately.
Jumped in the car, came up right away.
I remember I came home and there was a message on my machine. You are now a grandma. And I was just overwhelmed. I started to cry again.
We saw her the day she was born. Held her the day she was born. Kissed her the day she was born.
And we're still kissing her.
I came here to visit as soon as I could. I remember came upstairs, came into the house, and Benjamina was holding her. And it was another touching moment. I saw the little baby. She was a tiny little baby. She was beautiful. I could tell then she was going to be brilliant and loving and kind and thoughtful. And she's been all of those things.
Even when she was a baby, not a big sleeper, likes to kind of keep her own schedule. Remember that? She was a big screamer.
Bayla and I were babysitting, and Ida was babysitting, and Mayor. We were all taking care of Shlomit. I don't know, she must have been a year and a half old, and we couldn't get her to stop crying. She cried. All of these 4 talented adults couldn't control her.
She just, you know, she didn't like to sleep. She didn't like you to ever put her down. Had to hold her all the time, which was okay.
And what finally worked was taking her up and down the stairs to the basement, running up and down, and that calmed her. And so Mayor and I were delegated to do that, and we spent the night running up and down the stairs and sweating.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Anything for you.
Of course, there's a time when you were 2, our famous story, when you were 2.5 maybe, and we went to Bamboo Garden with Andrea and maybe Alana Rosenkrantz and Shoshana, and you got mad, and so instead of using your words, we were working with you, you decided to pick up the whole plate of chow mein noodles and throw them across the table. And then we had to leave the restaurant.
I'm sure it was the right thing to do. Because why not throw noodles at people if you get mad?
That was the same year, I think we went to Los Angeles, and I had you and Albert, so you were probably 2.5, and he was 6 months, and you got mad about something. So again, instead of using your words or having just a tantrum, you're always very headstrong, you know what you wanted to do, you just planted yourself in the middle of the aisle, just face down, and you wouldn't get up. You just would not get up, and you were having a tantrum and a whole meltdown, and the whole plane was looking at you and looking at me, and then we were about to land, and the stewardess told me I had to pry you off the floor because we were landing. So I had to give your brother to some nice German businessman who was sitting next to me, and he held him, and I peeled you off the floor screaming, and we were landing, and then I had to hold you on my lap.
I don't know what's going through my mind then. I'm sure it was reasonable, but I'm not sure.
Shlomit's always had an independent streak, and I think this came out right before her 3rd birthday. She had beautiful long hair, and she was one day sitting on the couch watching Dragon Tales, and she found a scissors, and she decided to give herself her first haircut. And it was actually a very traumatic moment in the Menashe household for my dear wife, and it's something that we still talk about today.
Because Jacob's brother was getting married a few weeks later.
Well, I I was just watching it, and I had a scissors. What else was I supposed to do with it? I mean, I didn't know. I was little, but I just cut my hair. It was fun. I liked it very much.
She looked really cute.
Very end.
I'm very proud to be her softer. Even though she charges me a quarter to give me a cup of coffee in the morning. She charged me a quarter, and then when it was inflation, she put it up to 50 cents. Even though as she serves the coffee, she takes a little sip out of it. They don't do that at too many fine restaurants. And Pesach, her prices go up a little bit, she said, because Pesach food, it's a little more expensive.
That's true.
She takes her homework very seriously.
Waste of time because we do our work in school. No, I'm being serious. We do our work in school and we come home, because we do sports and then, school work is for school. Coming home is not about doing work, it's about doing stuff with your family. So homework kind of takes away that kind of time. So if you get like an hour and a half of homework at night, it takes away a lot of your time. And I just think homework is really a waste of time. I'm sure I could find a million things better to do than do homework.
Oh, she's very active in extra activities and in sports. She's a champ. I watched a volleyball game today, and she was marvelous. Boy, she was slamming that ball over the net and volleying it. And she's a marvelous swimmer, and she's a terrific basketball player. I think she's one of the stars of the team. And she's just very, very good at whatever she chooses to do, especially in giggling. She inspires me to keep going, to try hard, as she does.
It's amazing. She has a wonderful independent streak, and she believes in herself. She's confident and smart and beautiful and everything. Well, I can see that on your bundle. She's an exceptional young girl and modest. That's one of her strong qualities too. And we love her, and we are just proud of her every day, more and more.
You're very caring.
Shlomit is a very, very compassionate girl, and he sent me a beautiful birthday card that said, "Happy birthday, Zavta. I love you. P.S. You still owe me money for the coffee."
She's very bright. She's a great athlete. She's beautiful.
She's very kind, very thoughtful, very loving. She has a wonderful sense of humor, which I consider very important. Most important of all, she loves animals and she loves dogs. That's my main consideration of everybody.
Seaside a couple years ago, and we were all on bicycles, the kids, and I was hanging back to make sure everybody was okay. And Shlomit was in front of me, and she was going very slowly, and I was kind of waiting for her to pick it up, the speed, because the other kids were even ahead of her. And she wasn't going any faster. And then I realized that she was hanging back to watch out for me while I was watching out for the other kids.
And I tell one time I wrote a report card that says, Shlomit, what loves is very social, only at the wrong times. And I said, I thought that was wonderful.
I mean, no one can really tell you what to do or who to be. Like, you have to be yourself. And if people try to tell you stuff, it just whatever. Let it go. It's not a big deal.